Alright, hey guys. This is probably now my fifth time trying to record this video. If you can't tell, even just kind of by this quality already, I typically film these videos on a cell phone. It's just kind of a fun hobby that I've been picking up, just kind of going over movies, doing movie reviews, stuff like that. I've been trying to learn as I go along, and I just got myself a computer and a new webcam, and I'm really learning from the ground up here. So it's been taking me a little while to put out new videos, and for any of you that are watching these videos, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to learn as I go along, and I just appreciate the patience with it. But yeah, let's jump into the Wailing. This is probably a movie that is not kind of jumping out on your Netflix. It is a Korean film, a really good one, by the way. It's got a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is kind of one that jumped up on my radar. It's probably my fifth or sixth Korean film. So going into it, assuming you've never seen one of these before, there are a few things to just notate before you get in there. I mean, obviously you're going to be reading subtitles. That's kind of just a part of the deal, which I always forget how quickly I just forget that I'm reading subtitles, and I'm just naturally kind of going through it like I would in a normal movie. I'm not realizing I'm actually reading a whole lot through it. So for any of you that are afraid of that, maybe you'll feel the same way about it. Since it is a Korean movie, it also kind of lacks the glossiness of Hollywood movies. I don't know what it is that always surprises me about Korean movies, but they always seem to come out of nowhere on just how dark they can get. They really don't deal with the glossiness of Hollywood-style movies. Even horror films out of Hollywood kind of have a nice, pristine look to them. But these movies really don't. They kind of are okay covering kind of dark, heavy topics that just look gritty and gross. And The Wailing is exactly right there in line with all of the rest of them. Yeah, the plot-wise, it kind of follows a cop. He's a bumbling, kind of goofy, scared cop. He works in a small village, and in this village, certain people are getting afflicted with something, and nobody's really quite sure what it is, and ultimately it ends up leading to them kind of killing their family, which is all strange and weird, and it kind of just keeps building and building, and people in the village keep blaming this Japanese guy that just recently moved into the village, and the cop doesn't think anything of it until it starts to affect his family, and then things really start to ramp up from there, and it gets crazy. It's a 2.5 hour long movie. I do want to give you kind of a fair warning, maybe before you go and start this and you're like, oh, okay, probably an 1.5 hour long movie, I'll start it now. No, it is 2.5 hours long. I've got a 3-year-old, so I kind of knew going into this, I'm going to have to probably split this up into two things. I don't have that much free time on me, so I split it up into two viewings. It didn't affect my view of the movie negatively at all. I was for sure engaged after that first half, and I was really looking forward to finishing that up and watching the second half. There are just a couple kind of weird downfalls of the movie, and they're super minor. They're nothing major. There are a couple moments in the movie that I think are kind of almost slapstick in humor, but it doesn't feel like it was intentionally meant to be funny, and I wasn't really laughing at it. It just really kind of takes you out of the tone of the movie. The movie's very serious and just kind of sad the whole way through, and then you've got these just two moments that kind of pop up that just feel a little bit out of place. Fortunately, they don't linger very long. It gets right back into the movie pretty quickly, and it's no big deal, but that is something that I thought was just a little weird, a little jarring. Also, since the movie is a little bit of a long one, sometimes when you get into long movies, especially movies like this movie doesn't reveal at all what is happening. I mean, you have to get into the last minutes of the movie to actually figure out what is happening, which is great. It works out awesome. But in that last half an hour, kind of leading into that last half an hour, I was getting a little worried. I was getting a little worried that this was going to just fall flat on its face. It was not going to actually pay off in the end. And that was kind of worrying me. It just kept asking or bringing up more questions. I don't know what's happening. And then you get towards the end of the movie, and then it gets really, really, really tense, and then into that kind of final reveal. So it works out, but I was a little worried kind of going into that last portion of the movie that it was not going to pay off. But it does. It does. Fantastically. It does great. So yeah, which does lead to kind of the end of the film. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but this to me is one of all. Whenever I see Korean films, I always love the ends of these movies. They just know how to stick the landing, beautifully. And this movie is no different. It does such a great job at the end. Korean cinema just loves to throw everything it can at you. And it is usually really heavy and dark and just, you walk out of it just feeling like, whoa, that was not what I expected. And it's something that's just, I think, special to Korean films. So, yeah, really, I've got nothing but good things to say about it. If you haven't seen this one, I would recommend it. If this is your first kind of jump into Korean films, this might not be the first one that I would start with. I would go back to where I think most people kind of get introduced with Old Boy. Another great movie that plays out and the end just feels so twisted. You might have seen the American version. The Korean version is the best. The American version with, I think it was James Brolin in that movie, was okay, but it's nothing like the original. So go check out the original if you haven't seen that one. That's kind of a good way to kind of give you a taster of what these movies are like. And then I would kind of work my way maybe towards the Wailing, either after that or maybe a little bit further down. But totally worth it. Go check it out. If you have seen it, go ahead. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know if you thought it was awesome as much as I did. And maybe you didn't. Let me know that too. Let me know what you didn't like about it. But comments, leaving likes, always help out my channel. Again, I'm kind of learning from the ground up. So any kind of help you can pass along to me or words of advice are always appreciated. And yeah, until next time, I'll see you later.